watching this Pravachan on 3rd of February 2024 at Durga temple in Markham. We are continuing with our study on Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, Karmayog, Karmayogo Nama Trutiyo Adhyaya. This is one of the most important chapter, just like others. And what is explained here is majority of answers in our life. Majority of practical questions which are coming in our life are answered in this chapter. It is very important to get those answers, because without those answers we are deluded, we are unguided, we are confused. What is the right way of living life? And it gives a very practical way of living life. So it is not telling that which religion and all those kind of questions. It is not. It is connected to the human being and how a human being is designed, how a human being is manufactured, and accordingly how a human being is supposed to be behaving. That is what it is telling. And why these guidelines? Because a human being should be happy. The whole fundamental reason why we have the whole Gita and the whole Vedic scripture, one single line objective. Humans should be happy along with the nature around it. This is one single line. We all should be happy. And how we can be happy is a question. Because a simple thing like when we were young kids, having a Barbie doll or having the marbles or having a chocolate was making us feeling like Napoleon Bonaparte, feeling like Alexander the Great. We have conquered the world if I got one chocolate in my hand. But as we grow, our needs, our understanding keeps changing. So when there is a dynamic situation, any one single way of living, any one single way of thinking is not sufficient, is not clarifying how we should be living. And that is why this is what is called as the whole Gita and all our whole scripture is called as a progressive idealism. It is progressive. It is not that we only have only one way. As the life changes, as the science changes, as the technology changes, the method in which we should be living should be dynamic. We are using mobile phone now, before we were not. But what is a Shastra which can make us happy as a human being, irrespective of the time and the science and technology and all? That is the reason why there is a Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. It is beyond the time, it is beyond that. So how is it? People talk a big thing about it, but how is it? And that is our main objective here, to understand Shrimad Bhagavad Gita in a very simple way, in an applicability. The whole objective of our program is Shrimad Bhagavad Gita for me, today, now and in future. What is in it for me? That is a question, and that is why we are studying it. So just to recap that, because sometimes we forget that why we are even studying and meeting over here. So I will go to the 6th sloka where we stopped the last time on the 3rd chapter. I'll chant the sloka first. Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimodatma mityacharasa uchyate. Karmendri sanyamya. Here we talked about it. What does it mean? Karma. Karmendriyani sanyamya. Those who restrain the external organs from action. Restraining. Here the word is restrain. It is not control. It is like you are restraining a very forceful horse, and you are controlling a horse, and then you are guiding a horse. These are the labels. So here it is restraining. Karmendriyani sanyamya. Those who restrain the external organs of action, that is basically our senses, right? While continuing to dwell on the sense objects in the mind. That means they are physically controlling the body and the senses to get connected with the sense object. the object which gives us the sensing. If a person is trying to restrain the organs or the senses by disconnecting, by forcefully disconnecting it, but in the mind the person is still connected, is still dwelling on the sense object, then this person is certainly a deluded. They have deluded themselves and are called as hypocrite. This is a translation. In Hindi it will say, जो कर्मेंद्रियों को हठपूर्वक रोक कर. Here the important word is हठपूर्वक, restrain. हठपूर्वक रोक कर मन से, with the body they will be stopping their organ, stopping their senses, but with the mind they will be still dwelling into it, they will be still thinking about it. विषयों का मन से इंद्रियों के विषयों का चिंतन करता रहता है, वह मूढ़ बुद्धि वाला मनुष्य, मूढ़, विमूढ़ आत्मा, मूढ़ मीन्स डिल्यूटेड, वह मूढ़ बुद्धि वाला मनुष्य मिथ्याचारी आचरण करने वाला यानी कि दंभी कहा जाएगा. दिस इज a Hindi translation of it. So here we have got a couple of words over here. One is mithyachari and dambhi. What is the difference? Mithyachar and dam. This is very important because 99% of people do this in their life. 99% of people do this in their life. They mithyachar means deluded and dambhi means hypocrite. So both are finally doing one who thinks differently than what he is actually doing. This is the outcome of being a deluded or hypocrite. It is very easy to understand, in our daily life. Suppose somebody is doing fasting, a person like me who will like to eat a lot of food and nice food, suppose, and then I have to do fasting because somebody told me you must do fasting. Either it is by the doctor who told that, oh, you must not eat that much, or you must control your diet, or by some other religious or other reason, when it will say that, oh, you know what, you do a fasting and you will get heaven or whatever. The person is convinced, and now person is fasting, but the person cannot fast. The person is always interested in eating nice food. So what happens on the day of fasting? The person is physically not eating. Physically the person is not having the food in the mouth and is not eating, but his mind is continuously thinking about the food. His mind is continuously thinking, the moment my fasting time is over, I will eat this food, I will eat that food. In fact, they will also prepare the food so that I will prepare all the food, so the moment my fasting is done, I will start eating. That is what the person thinks. Continuously thinking. That is what happens. So, in other words, if the mind is continuously dwelling into those sense object, but physically a person is not connected. So what is the difference in the mithyachar? Mithyachar means deluded person who likes to do something but does not do it, or does something else because of external factors. That is mithyachar. Because there are external factors, the person is not, even though he is not convinced by the actions or the reasons for doing or not doing the thing, the person is still indulged into those actions. That is mithyachar. Mithya means delusion. Mithyachar, achar means actions. Deluded action. A person who is not convinced but doing the action. And this comes everywhere. It comes in religion also. भगवान के मंदिर जाना, शनि महाराज को प्रसन्न करना है, हनुमान जी का पाठ करना. Even though a person is not convinced whether it is going to really work or not, a person is not convinced whether it is working, whether I am really having a faith or not in the prayer, but the person goes. Now, why it is a mithyachar and why it is a ya aste manasa smaranya, indriyani vimud, why the person is called deluded? The reason is because a person who is doing the action which he or she is not convinced with, the effect of that work will not come into the person. The whole reason for doing the action, say for example rituals and all that, is to develop a faith, is to develop a confidence in relationship with God. But if a person is not convinced and still doing it, then the person cannot develop the relationship, cannot understand the love of God, and so that work is called as a mithyachar. Even though you see a person connected or disconnected, but with the mind they are not connected or disconnected, then the person is called as a mithyachari. Just like in the case of food, a person is not eating but thinking about the food in mind. The exact opposite will be a person is doing something but not occupied by that in the mind. Both are called as a mithyachara. When I am internally not convinced, when I am internally not engaged with the actions which I am doing or the actions which I am not doing, then that is called as a mithyachara. That's the definition of mithyachara. And the dambi, hypocrite. Hypocrite is a person who is again, he seems doing same thing. He is also not convinced, but he is doing the thing. But here, the one of the factor or the additional factor is the external people. The person wants to show, the person wants to display to the external people. मुझे लोग देखेंगे तो कैसा होगा? Dambi. He is doing the action. He is not convinced. But the doing of action is not because of the internal factor, but it is for the external factor. Show business. And 99% of us are in either of these two categories. Show business. Do I really need a big house? I don't. But if I have a big house, then the people will think that I am a rich person. So I'll take a very large mortgage which I may not be able to afford, and then I will buy a big house. Now I am in a tension because I will be always worried about how to pay the mortgage payment. Dambi. Show business. Whatever is not there, they want to show it. Why? Because they have got an impression. And then there is a psychology in it. Because why they are doing it? Because they think that I am within myself is not sufficient. They always need an external factor, an external convincing, an external seconding, an external opinion to get convinced within that yeah, I am a big person. They always need a pat on the back. And that pat on the back is not by the internal nature but by the material nature. So, badi gadi chahiye. I need a big car, I need a big house, I need a very good expensive clothes, I need so many ornaments. All because why? Because I have to show it to someone and they will think or have an opinion about me. That is dambi. That is the meaning of the word dambi. They are doing the actions to show others. So the impact of deluded or mithyachar, that he cannot be happy. He thinks of something and doing something else. We always, So this can be even applicable in our career selection. If by my nature I am a very extrovert person, if by my nature I like to talk to the people and go around the world and all that, but then because I don't get the good jobs with, or I get a good job only with computer programming or something, I become a programmer. So as a programmer, I will be sitting in one corner of the office in a cubicle for my whole life. I will be doing programming, which I don't want to do. Internally, I don't want to do. And that is where the word hobby has started. That you want to do something which you like to do because unfortunately your profession is not allowing you to do that. Because profession is connected with the bread and butter. You have to select the profession to earn bread and butter. You do not select a profession as per your liking. There is the problem. That is why most of the people are seen unhappy. After 30 years of job also they will say that, oh, no. Everywhere, anything. In Canada, I have seen people, I have met people who have been living here for 30 years, 40 years. I ask them. They say, oh, इंडिया में जितना मजा आता है उतना यहाँ नहीं, यहाँ भारत में मजा आता है. The fun in India is never here. So I asked the person, you have lived here for 40 years, most of your life. Why did you live here in this world, this part of the world, when you do not like it? You think that India is the best. Why don't you go to India then? But no, they will live here and they will say that India is the best to live. If the person's choice is to live in India, then go to India and live there. Or for that matter, any country. India is just an example. You do the stuff which you like to do. You do not do, and you still always say that, oh, this is the best. That is what is a mithyachar, deluded. You cannot be happy, you cannot be satisfied, and nor you are confident in life. You will never be confident in your life. That is what happens when it is a mithyachar, the deluded actions. And the dambi, hypocrite, the impact of is loss of faith in the society, loss of faith. Yeah. People see you doing something at one time and people see you doing the other thing at the other time. So they will lose the faith in you. Yeah. In your actions, in your skills, everywhere. People will lose the faith in you. Yeah. We see politicians. Yeah, we see them in media. Politicians are going to the poor people and giving them, gifts and this and that and all that. And then we know that the other day we see the same politician doing something else. It's hypocrite. So what happens? The people lose the faith. Mithyachari or deluded is hurting inward, whereas the dambi or hypocrite is hurting the outside world. Overall, in the society, people start losing faith and dependence on each other. They do not have any confidence on each other, because a person coming today will be changed tomorrow. That is why we do not help each other. That is why we do not have confidence and faith in each other. People don't help each other because they have got an experience before that people are hypocrite. They come and they say, ask for money please, I'm hungry, I am a beggar and all that. So it is not only the rich people, even poor people are hypocrite also. It's not only the powerful people, it is the weakest people are also equally hypocrite. It is not connected with amount of power or knowledge or money which a person possesses. It is connected to the psychology of a person, whether a person is a deluded mithyachari or hypocrite. That is what it happens. That is what it is. Yeah. People put makeup. People have already got the grey hairs, white hairs, they put the black color there. Why? Oh, I should look young. They are unhappy with their age, they are unhappy with their body. Here in North America, that is called as a body shame. You should not have a body shame. Whatever body is given to me, yeah, I have to maintain it well. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do wrong things, don't take drugs, don't abuse your body. But whatever body is given to you, you maintain it well and be proud of it. This is what I am. That is what is the body shame thing. So it is very important that we do not become a mithyachari, deluded, or we do not become a hypocrite, dambi. We should not be. And how do we do that? How do we do that? So that is what here God is telling. Karmendriyani sanyamya. If you are forcefully stopping your senses, the 11th sense, the 10 senses, 5 karmendriya, 5 jnanendriya, 5 senses of understanding and 5 senses of actions. This 10 senses and 11th sense is the mind. Mind is that. So even though we control our physical senses, 10 numbers, if the mind is going around, ya aste manasa smaran, the mind is continuously thinking, smaran, then it will not work. Yeah. So how the mind should be stopping? Question is how the mind will stop. Question is how it will work. Doing karma this way is not correct. It does not bring the peace in life. So how to act? Now the question is, as we have already gone before, not doing is not possible because we are embodied animals, we are material world. Not doing any action is not possible. Doing through hypocrisy and deluded is not good. And connected, sakam karma, connected actions will bring the fruits, and then that fruit will be not matching with the expectation, so we will be either happy or unhappy. If the fruit is more than expected, then we will have more greed. I need more. Canada में आए थे. When I come to Canada, I was having only $2,000 or $1,000 in my pocket. Then I was wishing, at that time I was wishing that I will have a $30,000 job. Oh, I will be the happiest person in life. I should have a good job. Once you get a $30,000 job, you want a $70,000 job. You are living in a basement apartment, now you need an apartment, then you need a bungalow. There is nothing wrong, remember, there is nothing wrong in having it. Gita doesn't stop a person doing a thing. It is only the mind, the condition of the mind to do that is to be corrected. So earning a good amount of money, getting married, having nice house and car and all those facilities is not wrong. Gita is not stopping that. It is telling what is your state of mind while doing those actions. And that is where the Karmayog comes. So the questions are, should we not control? If it is told that Indriyani Sanyamya, should we not control the senses? That's the question one. Here it is telling that forcefully controlling the senses is not correct because it is mithyachar and dhamma. But in that case, should we not even control the senses? We should, isn't it? If the senses are totally uncontrolled, then it will not work properly. A person has got a habit of smoking. He will say, "Nahi, मैं मंदिर गया था, पंडित जी बोल रहे थे, इंद्रियों को जबरदस्ती कंट्रोल नहीं करना, इसलिए मैं पीता हूँ सिगरेट." Does it work? It doesn't work. That means control is required. Control is required. Doctor has told, don't eat sugar. You have got a diabetes. So control is required. Nobody says a control is not required. Here it is telling, but then what does it mean here? That Indriyani, Karmendriyani Sanyam. Karmendriyani Sanyam. Karma Indriya. Yeah, remember, it is karma, the action part of the senses. Okay. So, Karmendriyani Sanyam. It is telling here that a person doing like that is not correct. So, should I be controlling the senses or I should not be controlling the senses? Should we allow it to whatever it wants to do? We should allow it to take drugs and whatever that. If not, then what is the correct method? On one side, so we have got a three-pronged question here. Number one is that without doing action, we cannot live. Number two is doing action in a state of mind with mithyachar and dhamma, deluded or hypocrisy is not good. And doing action which brings us a fruit, the sakam karma, the fruit oriented actions are going to bring us pain. Then what to do? All these three things together, what a person is supposed to be doing, what a person should be, how a person should be acting in the world. That is a question, three-pronged question. That's the question here. What are the parameters for evaluating that what is the right thing to do? How do we have a parameter set? And is there any escape or any solution from this problem? Because these three things are told that we are making unhappy. If you don't do any action, it is anyway not possible, and also you need it to live. So, what to do? And that is why God is going to the next shloka. God is explaining it further. So, I will chant the 7th shloka here. Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabate arjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asakta sa vishishyate. Yeah, very important part. Here the word, there are multiple words, but one of the important word is arabte. Arambha. Niyamya arabte arjuna. Begins. So here the God has now gone into more macro level, that how the action begins is important. Because action will be seen as same. We are seeing people, right? Great people are also similar to us, are eating food And they are also wearing clothes, and we are also wearing clothes. There is a funny story about Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya was going around, in the Indian continent, in Bharatvarsha, and he was giving he was spreading the knowledge of Advaita, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Brahma is the only truth, and the world is Mithya. World is not correct. World is not true. World is untrue. That is the kind of thing which can translate in English to the best. So he was telling that everywhere. Now one day he was going through a street, and the street was narrow. So one day he is going through the street, and then what happened that somehow a mad elephant, a very angry elephant, was coming from the other side of the street, and everybody shouting, elephant coming, go away, because if you are in the way of an elephant, such a big, like 3-ton, 5-ton animal, you will be crushed in seconds. So everybody was shouting, run away, elephant is coming. Now the street is narrow, you can't go anywhere. You can't run faster than elephant for sure, as a human being. What to do? So Shankaracharya, because it was a small lane, Shankaracharya went up on a second floor or in a house. He went in and he cleared the lane, and the elephant passed, and he was saved. Now there are intelligent people. There are people who are intelligent and they use their intelligence. That is called as a buddhi vadi. Vad vivad. Argument, counter argument. Argument, counter argument. They don't want to understand. They just want to counter the argument, and they think that by doing an argument and counter argument, they are proving that they are better and sharper intellect. These are the people who are called as a buddhi vadi. Vad vivad mein buddhi ka upyog karna. Vad vivad. Argument, counter arguments. So there are people like that. So there was a person like that. He told to Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. He told that, see, you always tell Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. If that is the case, then the elephant who is coming is Mithya, because it is part of Jagat. Then why did you run away? So for such person, the answer from Adi Shankaracharya was, just like the running of the elephant was Mithya, even my going and running into taking a shelter into a shop is also a Mithya. Because both are saying everything is Mithya. So basically what it means that the problem is not in the action. Here the God has used the word arabdhe, beginnings. Those karma, now here it is telling that those karma yogis who control their knowledge senses with the mind, knowledge senses, not the karmendriyani, indriyas, the action senses, the knowledge senses. Because the knowledge senses, it is a hierarchy. The action senses, just like hand, leg, mouth which you speak with, all that. So the action senses are controlled or rather guided by the knowledge senses. My nose is sensing that there is a nice fragrance coming from a flower. So it will tell the mind that aha, there is a nice flower. So the mind will tell the action sense now, the hand, to go and pull the flower, pick the flower. So it is knowledge senses and action senses, and they both contact to the mind. As per the knowledge sense and the feedback of the knowledge sense, it tells the mind what the action senses are supposed to be doing. This mechanism is very important to understand. The knowledge senses, Karmendriya and Jnanendriya. Jnanendriya, the nose which can smell, the eyes which can see, the skin which can feel the touch, the ears which can hear. So this knowledge senses are giving the feedback of the external world to the mind, and the mind decides the action and tells the action senses, hand, leg, again mouth to speak, like that. So this is the mechanism. So here the God is telling that Arabdhe, it begins with what? the control of the on the human being is connected with the indriya, the action, the senses of the knowledge. So it is telling here that those karma yogis who control their knowledge senses with the mind and engage working senses in working without attachment are superior. This is the meaning. In Hindi we can say that, oh Arjun, because there is an Arjun word here, right? So, oh Arjun, जो मनुष्य मन से इंद्रियों पर नियंत्रण करके आसक्ति रहित होकर, निष्काम भाव से आसक्ति रहित होकर समस्त इंद्रियों के द्वारा कर्म योग का आचरण करता है, वही श्रेष्ठ है. In very simple word, what it means is that the knowledge senses are controlled by the person, and so whatever are the aghat, जिसे कहते हैं हम हिंदी में, we call it as aghat, the impact, the imprint of the knowledge senses coming on the mind is controlled in such a way by those karma yogi, so that the action senses, the other side, the action senses are not indulged into a selfish action. निष्काम कर्म में होगा वो, सकाम कर्म में उसका एक्शन नहीं होगा. This is the meaning. Here the very important part is God has used the karma yogam, karmendriyai karma yogam asaktasya vishishyate. Karma yoga. Here the God has used the word karma yoga, and this word is going to come multiple times. It will come multiple times in this chapter and in other chapters also. So let us see. The mechanism one by one. Take it in the bullet point in the mind, and if you guys are writing, you can write it also. Actions are done through the senses. Which senses? Karmendriya. Action senses. All the human beings' actions are done by the action senses. Hand, leg, mouth, like that. But the understanding, the feeling of the action is happening in the mind through the knowledge senses. This is the mechanism. So, what is the difference between an attached and detached action? What is the meaning of nishkam karma? Let us take some examples, a practical example in life, and we will try to understand it. We will take 3 examples. One is that a understanding as a duty versus love. Doing the action as a duty versus love. Let us take an example. So, suppose there is a boy or a little kid who is sick, and the kid is sick and kid needs a treatment. Now, there is a nurse and there is a mother. There is a nurse and then there is a mother. The nurse will also do the treatment and also do the serving to the boy in the same way, maybe better way, because she has been professionally trained. She will do the nursing, she will do the helping of the kid, treating of the kid, and mother will also do the same way. Mother will also feed the baby, mother will also, kid, mother will also give the medicine to the kid. One is doing it as a duty. This is my duty to do. I am not telling that the nurse will do only for the money. The nurse may have a feeling of a humanity in mind, and nurse will think that to serve the humanity is my duty as a human, and she may be doing that also. But she is doing that as a duty. On the other hand, a mother is doing it with the love. Doing the same action, giving medicine, feeding food, everything is same. The action seems same. Now what happens? If there is only a feeling of duty, then it gives a dryness. It gives a dryness in life. मेरा duty है, मैंने कर दिया. Yeah, I did my duty, I am done. There is no attachment over there. So it gives a dryness. Here God is telling that niskam, attach mat ho jao. If I am completely not attached, then there is a dryness in the life. Everything will be dry. I am doing my duty. The world has got a fragrance. The world is worth living because there is love. If the mother is telling that I am raising my kids only as a duty, where is the definition of mother's love? In same way, anybody's love, for that matter. Brother, sister also, same way. It's not only, everywhere. Friends, it is love. You love your friends and that is why you want to be with them. Not that, I am having a duty. So duty gives a dryness. Only duty will give the dryness. Only duty will give the dryness. And love. But the problem with the love is that it gives attachment. The mother is attached to the kid. So when mother is attached, what happens? Even if kid is doing wrong things, mother will allow it to do. बच्चे को कुछ भी करने देते हैं, ना बोलना नहीं है, बिगड़ा हुआ बच्चा बड़ा कर देंगे, कुछ भी नहीं आता बच्चे को, फिर भी मेरा बच्चा महान. That is what is going to happen. So love is creating attachment and duty is creating dryness. So what to do? This is a question coming in. So you know what? I always talk with the people about the need of God, the believers and non-believers and half-believers and hypocrites. The question is whether we need God or God needs us. In this case, where it is duty versus love, what is happening? If it is only duty, then the dryness came. If it is only love, then the attachment came. We need something to cure between these two. And that is where the need of God is coming. If God is there or not, God is, which type of God, where it is, what it is, whether it gives you reward or not, all the karma fall and all, forget about that. Just forget that. Just think about this problem. If I am doing my actions as a duty, it gives you dryness. If I am doing action as a love, then it gives me attachment. What to do? Bring the God in between. When the God factor comes in between, even though it is there or not, or what type of God is a question out of the whole scope here. When the God comes in, now look at it. Now how it happens. When the God comes in, God has given me this work. A affection towards the God is making me do the thing. So when I am doing my duty, I am looking at God. गरीबों में भगवान को देखना, रोगियों में, पीड़ित में भगवान को देखना. All our saints have told that. दरिद्र नारायण की सेवा करो. दरिद्र नारायण. The God in downtrodden. The God in those people who are suffering. What will happen? The work will not become dry. Even though it becomes a duty towards my fellow brothers and sisters, it will not become dry. Because the feeling of love towards God is there. And on the other side, the mother side, if I have got attachment to the material world, which is my son, my car, everything, then I am attached. How to resolve it? God has given me. Again you need the God. Put the God in between. In engineering, we have got two dissimilar materials. You must have heard engineering or even in I think grade 10 or 12 science also. How to join two dissimilar materials? Put one another material in between, which is not equal to both the materials. You want to join some two dissimilar material, put a brass shim in between and then do the brazing, do the soldering. What will happen? The two material will join. And now they become one bond. There is a material world, there is a spiritual world. You cannot combine them, the duty and the love. So the method is put the God in between. In case of mother here, instead of loving the son as a my son and all, you love that as a prasad. Prasad we already did it in the second chapter. Prasad sarva dukhanam hani rasyo pajayate. You do it as a prasad. God has given me this kid. भगवान ने मेरी झोली में ये फूल डाला है. ये फूल को मैं कैसे बड़ा करके अच्छा करके दुनिया के सामने पेश करूं. So the feeling will be combined with the duty and prasad. So now if that son is doing something wrong, mother will not be stopping herself from even punishing him. Why? Because the God has given me this son or daughter, or even for that matter job and everything for that matter. God has given me this job, so I will do it to the best possible. Prasad. So the problem of duty's dryness and attachment through the love is both resolved with the God factor in between. And that God factor and doing the work through the God factor is Karmayog. Very simple way. That is Karmayog. कर्म करने के समय जुड़ जाना, योग में जुड़ जाना, connected. Whom do you get connected? He is really कर्मयोग. But whom, किसके साथ जुड़ के काम करना? With connecting with whom to work while working and doing actions. That is कर्मयोग. Joining with the God. That is why we need God. Then you name it whatever God you believe in. Doesn't matter. हनुमान जी बोलो, शंकर भगवान बोलो, कोई भी शेप्ड और अनशेप्ड. हाँ, शंकर भगवान लिंग है, दिखता नहीं है उसका हाथ कहाँ है, पैर कहाँ है, वो भी चलेगा. हनुमान जी भी चलेंगे, गणपति भी चलेंगे, माता जी भी चलेंगे. एवरी गॉड विल डू. Shape or unshape. If the soul is that much developed, you can see God everywhere. When Prahlad was asked, where is your God? He told God is everywhere. So his father Hiranyakashipu, he asked him, do you think that there is a God in this hot iron pillar? The pillar is hot, red hot iron pillar. Can you say that the God is in this? And he says yes. And he says, okay, then go and embrace it. And Prahlad embraces it. And the Narsimha avatar comes out of it. So if we have got that much developed soul, we can even see God in hot iron also. But if we are not developed, see, we are all mango people. I always say, हम लोग आम आदमी है. We are common man. We are mango people. We are mango people. हम लोग आम आदमी हैं. इतना तो क्या भ्रक्त प्रहलाद का जितना जाने का, we cannot reach there now. Maybe बहुनाम जन्मानंद we can. But today, what to do? Put the God factor in between, and then do your work. Any work. Now it is duty or family, both sides. God has given me this family. God has given me this. We talked about it in Satyanarayana Katha, when last time we talked. Yeah, in Satyanarayana Katha, same thing we talked, given by the God, the prasad. And we talked about prasad, we talked about in detail. So that is example one. What is that? Duty versus love. That problem is resolved with this understanding. इंद्रियों पर नियंत्रण करने का जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगा. In our practical life also, think about it. There is a brother and sister. When you know the relationship of brother and sister, you do not have any ill feeling towards each other. भाई है मेरा, बहन है मेरी. Isn't it? Understanding brings the happiness, brings the safety. सोसाइटी में घूमने के लिए स्त्रियों को परेशानी नहीं होगी. With this understanding in mind. सभी बहनें खुले घूम सकेंगी स्वतंत्रता से, with freedom. That is what will happen if this thinking comes in mind. Okay, let us go to the second problem. The second problem is when we do the action, as you remember the three prongs, that is what we are thinking, we are trying to exemplify it here. The second one is feeling of comparison. If you do the action, you get the result. You get the result is not matching, it will never match 100% with the expectation which is the started. If the expectation is that I should get this much marks, you will get less marks, more marks, something will happen. The results are never equal to what is expected. That is the reality of life. So what happens? Comparison. Immediately comparison. And this comparison is everywhere. It is not only in actions but also in enjoyment. Eyes will see, the feeling of comparison. Eyes will see beautiful object, but the mind will recollect and compare. ये था ना, उससे वो अच्छा था, या तो वो बुरा था. Either of them. When I am seeing something, so what happens? The mind is doing the comparison, and because of that comparison, there is a continuous thirst. तृष्णा पैदा होती है फॉर बेटर, न्यूअर, अदर, नाउ, इवन इन टाइम फैक्टर, इट शुड नॉट बी हाँ इतना टाइम नहीं लेना चाहिए, जल्दी जल्दी होना चाहिए. बेटर, न्यू, नाउ, फास्टर, more in abundance, for longer period, all this trishna will start coming in with the comparison, and that is what is giving attachment. So attachment is not necessary. Last time also in second chapter we saw attachment is not necessarily with which you have. Attachment is also with things which you do not have. If my friend has bought a Rado watch and I don't have it, I am not attached with, I am not having the watch, so I am not attached to it. But I started getting my mind attached to it. Oh, I need a watch, I need a watch, I need a latest iPhone. My mind is attached to it, even though I am not in possession of it. So attachment is irrespective of whether you are in possession or not. So the question here was the comparison. You go to a restaurant. Let us take a simple example. You go to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant and you order some nice chole bhature, nice some food, spicy food which you like to eat. You take the first bite. This is not that taste. The one which I tasted in the earlier restaurant was better than this. Khalas. Now you are unhappy. We have made a mistake coming to this restaurant. And you are not happy even to pay for that. That is what happens. So, where is the attachment? Attachment is in the comparison. Attachment is in the memory. So either it is past memory as we talk or the future memory. Yeah, even future memory also. मैं इतना कमाऊंगा तो बड़ा घर बनाऊंगा. The happiness of the future. Both of these, the comparison is getting us into the attachment. That is attachment. Remember, attachment is not in possession. Attachment is not in action. Attachment in this second case is the connection because of comparison. This comparison is giving us the attachment. मुझे इतना मिला, उसको कितना मिला, और मिलने के बाद अभी मुझे इससे ज्यादा चाहिए. A person not having a job at all, two friends, they are working, coming to Canada, first one, and they are not having any job. So one person get a job, $40,000 job, and he says his friend, oh, I got $40,000 job. Now imagine the psychology of each friend. One is telling, oh, I got a job, he's so happy and all that. The other friend is thinking, oh, I still didn't get a job. Comparison, unhappy. Now, maybe after a week, the other friend gets $70,000. Now he is telling the other friend, oh, I got a $70,000 job. Now the friend who was just 1 week before happy that I got a $40,000 job, he is unhappy. Why? Comparison. And as at the starting of this Pravachan today, I told we want to be happy. So getting a $40,000 job is happiness, or getting a $70,000 job is happiness. How the happiness will come? When the comparison will go. And how comparison can go? Again God factor, again same thing. Prasad, what I got is because of my the natural justice, the justice of the nature, universal justice. That is what is giving me the fruits. I will do my actions. There is nothing wrong in doing actions. Nobody will stop you doing actions. And you should not be able to stop doing actions. But not getting attached to the fruit because it is given to me. Again, prasad is coming in picture here in the problem of comparison versus and enjoyment. That is what it is. So, what happens that we always be in past or in future. The past experiences, good or bad, and its impact on me today as an action and as a memory. Both of them. You will, it is very interesting to see that even there is a memory for the future. Somebody will say, yeah, memory is for the past. No, memory is for the future also. Yeah, dream world, what we call as dream world. मेरे पास पैसा आएगा, मेरे पास ये होगा, मेरे पास वो होगा. There is a little joke on it. There was a guy, there was a boy. Now this is a joke, okay? So there was a boy who was just sitting idle, not doing anything, not studying, nothing. And then there is another, his friend comes and his friend is saying, oh, the exams are coming, you are not studying at all. What are you doing? You are just sitting idle here doing nothing. You are just sitting in the garden, or you were just sitting in the garden bench, comfortably sitting next to the pond, watching. So the friend is telling, oh, you are sitting here, nothing, doing nothing. Why? Oh my God, the exams are coming. He is telling, okay, why are you doing giving the exam? So the guy is telling, oh, because I should get good marks and pass with good marks. And then what? And then I will go to the next standard and I will again pass and get good marks. Okay, then what? Oh, then I will be passing, doing a graduation, and I will be able to get admission into some master's course. Okay, then what? You say, okay, then I will get a good job. I will get a good job, I will get a good salary, I will be able to work hard. Then what? Then I will be having a, so this guy is asking him question, then what, and then he's telling, okay, then I will be having a family and I will have a good money to spend, and I will be having a good life. Then what? And then now this friend is telling, okay, then what I will do when I become old, I will be having a good amount of money in my pension plan and all that, and then I will sit comfortably and enjoy my life. So this boy is asking, if you are going to do all these things to sit comfortably and enjoy, then why don't you sit now next to me and enjoy? Why you have to work so much hard to do all that just to sit comfortably? Then you sit comfortably now next to me. Now, as a joke, this is okay, but also as a spiritual, think about it. The point here was a memory of past and a memory of or expectation of future are both hurting us. We have to live in present. Live in present. Whatever is with me now, today, live with that. That is the solution. And how we can do that? By just sitting idle like that boy? No, he has to give exam for sure. He has to give exam. He has to appear in the exam and he has to get the good mark. But what will happen that whatever is given to me now, I will act on it today now. I will not dwell on my past and I will not dream on my future. I will not dwell on my past and I will not dream about the future, but I will do my work today and also as given by the God. So the problem of duty versus love is resolved. That is what, and that is why we are getting connected with the God, and that is why it is karma yoga. Any doing any actions like that is giving an example, is the meaning of the karma yoga. In very simple way, we will try to understand this, because it can go really deep. It will go down the rabbit hole, and then we will be all lost because of the big words coming. There are so many factors coming, and it is all lost. But in very practical, these three things: duty and love, how to resolve it. The second part is experiences of past and expected experiences of future, and how to get detached with it. These two things, even if we understand and put the God factor, as we told that we have to put that, otherwise there is no solution to it, we are karma yogi. We can become karma yogi today. If somebody says that to become a karma yogi it takes ages and it's so much difficult, no, it is not. You can become karma yogi today onwards. Just in your mind you think about this and decide, I am going to live in present and I will do my work. That is karma yoga. जुड़ के काम करना, कर्म योग. Now remember, there is a disclaimer here, so we have to see, that how the things are coming. So the part is, a tongue is tasting, but it cannot be felt by a dead or unconscious person, isn't it? So here when we are telling that you do the karma yoga, that means that you are not dead or in coma. You are not insensitive. Detachment doesn't mean dead. Detachment doesn't mean unconscious. Detachment doesn't mean non-sensitive. Detachment doesn't mean that. Just like in the example of soldering or brazing, both the dissimilar materials are still connected and doing the work together. So detachment doesn't mean non-sensitivity or death. Detachment doesn't mean that a person is not compassionate. हाँ, अभी क्या दुनिया से तो मैं दूर हो गया, अभी मेरा कंपाशन नहीं है, नहीं चलेगा. हमारे सब बड़े बड़े संत, everybody who has done the work, they have worked for the society. हाँ, दरिद्र नारायण की सेवा, exactly the same word. If the world, think about it, if the material world is mithya, is useless, is mortal, is going to diminish, is going to die, is going to keep changing, then why do work for them? Why did all our big saints, big people, all over the world, not only in India, not only in Vedic culture, big people, yeah, why did they work hard for that? Why did they serve the society? Once they realized that the society is useless, it is going to die, it is mortal, then why do work with that? Wow, how did they develop their compassion? How did they develop their feeling of love and compassion towards the world when they already realized that it is useless? Imagine that. Suppose you are going for a job and your boss or your has told that okay, you are given 15 days of termination notice. You are getting a notice of 15 days. You are being terminated. Pink slip. What happens? For those 15 days, or even in case you resign also, for those 15 days, are you really with the same zeal and interest as if you are going to be getting promoted after 15 days? Are you able to do that work with the same quality for the same delivery? If the answer is yes, you are on the path, you are already started on the path of Karmayog. So, not getting attached doesn't mean dead. This is very important part to understand, So, this is a disclaimer. Yeah, you cannot say that when I am detached, that means I am not feeling it. Yeah, this is what is important. So here the second part was mind is superior and the mind should be controlling. So here the example is there, which is generally taken all the time, and maybe it is only 1 minute balance. So we will maybe take it so at the other time. That then what is the mechanism? See, now we have got a mechanism. Let us try to recap it because today is a more like a a whiteboard or a Pravachan. So we have got the Indriyas, 5 sensing and 5 acting. 5 कर्मेंद्रिय, 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय. 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय, 5 the knowledge senses are understanding the outside world and giving impact to the mind. And when it is giving impact to the mind selects and decides based on what we called about the comparison, the duty and love and all that. हाँ, मेरा बच्चा है तो उसको बड़ा लड्डू दे दो. Comparison. And so when that happens, the action, the mind gives the command to the action organ, the action senses that you do this. हाँ, मेरा बच्चा सामने आया, डब्बे में से बड़ा लड्डू उसके हाथ में, पड़ोसी का बच्चा है, छोटा लड्डू चलेगा. The action is coming when the sense organ, the knowledge organ is giving the feeding to the brain, that is, intellect, the mind. That is how the action came. Now we have got an intellect. So there is a comparison, there is a mechanism which is given how it is, and that is what is generally you have seen the Shrimad Bhagvad Gita picture. The chariot, the Sri Krishna is a Sarthi, and Arjun is sitting behind, and there are horses, and then there are reins, which is in the hand of the Bhagwan. So we will try to understand that scenario when it is coming to this shloka. So it is already 11 o'clock now. We will stop today, and we will again meet at Durga temple here next Saturday, 10 to 11 as usual. Till then, I wish everyone a happy weekend. Take care. There are some people who are telling they are getting virus and disease, so be careful. Take a flu shot if you have still not taken. And we will meet again next week between 10 to 11 here at Durga temple. Vasudevasutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve